Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about speech habits to avoid. I'm going to be mentioning habits that you should avoid as a broadcaster, a public speaker, someone who speaks generally, someone who speaks the English language. And many of these tips still help me till date, and I hope they would be very helpful to you too. So if you're interested in knowing about these bad speech habits to avoid, then keep watching. Hi guys, welcome to Fluently Speaking with Bola. My name is Omobolanle Adeshi, and as I said before we went on the break, we're going to be talking about bad speech habits to avoid. The very first one is to avoid fillers. Um, uh, you know, um, you know, well, like there's this particular one we use a lot. I used to use it a lot of times before, and that is the as in, any small thing, as in, um um you even say it in a more very fashionable way that it sounds very correct, but the truth is they make you sound like you don't know what you're saying, like you're not prepared for the particular occasion or whatever it is you're making the presentation. So to avoid these fillers, what you need to do is to pause. I maintain pauses sometimes when I'm trying to put my thoughts together, but the pauses must also not be too much so that you don't lose your audience. So there's a tactic to it. You know that sometimes you have to get your thoughts together to know the next thing to say so you don't say the wrong thing. But instead of putting in fillers, because the truth is these fillers do not have any meaning. What does mean? No, tell me, what does mean? Or what does it mean? So many of those fillers do not have any meaning, but because you're trying to put your thoughts together and you're trying to sound like someone, or perhaps you heard it from somebody, you heard it from someone, a native speaker who used it, and you thought that it was right to use it, but the truth is it is wrong, and it makes you come across to your audience like someone who is not prepared, who doesn't know what he or she is saying. So maintain a pause instead of using I can't say that enough. So let's move on to the next habit to avoid. The next habit I'm going to be talking about is cracking your knuckles while talking. So if you're on radio or on a platform where people don't get to see you, you might get away with that. But when you're speaking physically with an audience, you might want to avoid that because it's very distracting and people will begin to see that you're nervous when you begin to do, like, imagine I'm doing like this while I'm talking on this video. I'm cracking my knuckles. It doesn't really speak well of the presenter, doesn't really speak well of you as the speaker or the presenter. So you want to avoid that habit of cracking your knuckles when talking. Using slangs when speaking English. Now, for many of us, in every language has its own slang. I'm a Yoruba girl, so we have slangs like Abi, leave me jaw, jare, different slangs that we use, but these slangs can destroy your spoken English if you don't avoid them. Now, I still use a lot of them, especially when I'm speaking informally, but the problem is when you let it disrupt your formal speaking, or when you let it disrupt your spoken English, when you get so used to it that you do not control or avoid it when you're speaking in a formal setting. So you want to avoid those shay, you're going shay, you're coming shay. They may sound fancy, they may sound fanciful and fun to use, but they really do not present you as a professional or someone who is serious or someone who knows what he or she is saying. Habit number 4, using curse words like the F word and the S word. You want to avoid using all these words. While they may sound in vogue, especially when you watch movies, you hear a lot of actors use them. If you want to sound pleasant, professional, polite, you want to avoid using these curse words in your spoken English or in your speech. So you don't want to go presenting to an audience and then you're using the F word, you're using the S word. I'm not here to preach morals, but I just feel that if you want to sound professional or polite, it will be good to avoid these curse words. Next habit to avoid is mumbling your words, not pronouncing them correctly. And for you to pronounce your words correctly, especially when you're speaking English, you have to know how to pronounce the words. You can watch my video here on pronunciation and watch my video also on vowel sounds, consonant sounds, because to speak well, to sound right, you must be able to pronounce your words correctly, especially the consonant sounds. And it's also very important to pronounce the end of each word so that you sound confident and you exude that boldness to your audience, because you want to capture them as someone who speaks or who knows what he or she is saying. So you want to pronounce your words correctly, take hold, be in charge, grab your audience. And you can't do that without pronouncing your words correctly. Another bad habit to avoid speaking too quickly. Now, I know that a lot of people feel that, well, because I can speak English or because I want to show that I know how to speak English, the best way to show that is to speak fast. No, you're wrong. The main essence of communication is to pass a clear message so that you can get feedback. So if you speak fast, you're going to lose your audience because they may not be able to pick anything from what you're saying. So you want to speak not too slow, of course, but you want to maintain pauses where necessary. So you're not just rambling and then they're lost. They don't know what you're saying. So you want to ensure that you punctuate when necessary, you maintain your pauses when necessary, and you pass your message across confidently, boldly, without having to rush or mumble your words. Next habit is to imitate responsibly. Now, many times because we watch movies, we see native speakers, we want to imitate them, and then you do it the wrong way, you copy all their bad habits, both the good and the bad, you copy everything. The fact that someone is a native speaker doesn't mean the person gets or had all the right habits. So you want to be able to filter to know which of these habits are good for me and which of them are bad. Let's take a short break. We'll visit the vocab spots. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's talk about other bad speech habits to avoid. Another speech habit to avoid is not maintaining eye contact. So this applies to people who are on the screen, usually on the screen, Facebook, social media generally, Facebook, Instagram, even on YouTube. So for instance, if I'm looking here and not looking at the lenses, it means I'm not communicating with you directly. So maintaining eye contact is very important in communication because it would help your audience to know that you're speaking to them directly and not speaking just over them. Not looking up the meaning of words in your dictionary. I've been guilty of this a lot of times. Times when I'm just so confident that this is the meaning of this word. I heard this person use this word this way, and so this must be the meaning. And then you use it and then discover that you passed the wrong message. So don't get too confident that you don't get to check your dictionary. If you're not sure of a word, either look it up in your dictionary or leave it out. If in doubt, leave out. So if in doubt, it's either you leave out or you confirm by using your dictionary. And that is why every speaker, every English speaker should have a dictionary so that you can look up words, check out their meanings, pronunciations. This is very important. I've fallen short of this several times. I just hear a word because I like new words. I like using new words that I hear, and then I hear this new word used a particular way by someone I respect or someone who is supposed to know how to speak English and use words, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is a nice idea, and then I use the word that same way without looking it up, and then I shall. So you want to be careful to avoid being overly confident, especially with English language, because English is a language that evolves over time. It's very dynamic. Finally, always record yourself. Now, this is one habit I've learned over time. I record myself every now and then. Recording yourself will help you know how you sound, when to maintain pauses, how to project, and how to captivate your audience. So when you listen to yourself, you know how better to present, how better to speak. And this is something you have to do from time to time. It's not a one-off thing. Yes, especially for presenters, newscasters, you want to record yourself to know how you sound so that you can improve and grow from there. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that these speech habits would mar your spoken English, so you want to avoid them. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe before you go and watch my other videos here. Bye.